Hello guys, welcome to our channel. Today we will start with SQL Server DB concepts. So most of you know that like what is SQL, so structured query language, and what all the concepts we can see in the inside of that. So SQL is a structured query language, plays an important role part in the data management system in an organization. While applying for any data analyst job or most of the organization asks for hands-on experience with SQL. So usually what happens, like most of the people when they want to deal with the data, so definitely they look for a very good candidate in the SQL. So SQL is a simple and it's a powerful language which is used widely as a business intelligence tool. So in this article, we'll see like what are the things we can achieve it, by using the SQL. So people were completely new to this, so you can just think like, okay, we do need to save some data in a particular place. So we will use database tables and we don't have many concepts instead of that. We'll see one by one. So we list down the important steps, what all the people like know, what people should know to master the SQL. So we'll start with very basic things. So first thing, what you have to know is the basic of relational database and the SQL. So a database, let us see what is a database here. So a database is a set of structured data which can be easily accessible. A relational database is a collection of data which contains the predefined relationship between them in the form of tables with rows and columns. So when I say relationships, we'll see like how we can just connect, like make a relationship between these two tables. So some of them key terms which is usually like in the relational database are tables, records, primary keys, attributes, foreign keys. So usually by using the foreign keys and primary keys, we can just provide a proper relationship between the tables. The tables are sometimes called as relation, which contains one or more than the one category of data. The attributes are known as columns. A record is also known as a tuple or a row. The primary key is contained in each table. It's unique and used to identify information in a table. The foreign keys are used to link the primary keys of another table. Yeah, we will see like how we can do that. So structured query language is a powerful database tool which is used to perform operations such as create, maintain, retrieve data from a stored, like what are things you are stored in tables, like in the relationship things. So it's basically a standard language for data manipulation in a database management system. So we will see like how we can just like start creating tables and just like provide a connection between them and provide a proper relationship by giving a primary key and a foreign key relationship. So before we go ahead and just create our tables, I just want you guys to know the basic definition of all those things. So we do have multiple commands in SQL. So let us understand what are the commands which you have it. So data definition language. So it's called as DDL. So the data definition language commands such as create, drop, alter, truncate is used for creating, dropping, alternating, and modifying the structure of a database objects. So what is a create? So create is something like it's a DDL command which is just used to, it will help you just create a new table, right? And like we do have a create procedures, create views. So we will just use this create command just to make sure that we are creating a tables or whatever things you want to do it and do it. So drop is something like just want to whenever you no longer needed in your database, so you can just go ahead and just use drop. Alter and something like if you have any modification in your table, you can just go ahead and make it alter. A truncate is used for creating, like dropping, alternating, modifying the structure of the database object. So truncate is something like when you don't want any data, you want to just get rid of complete data. So that time you can just go ahead and use a truncate. So we'll just get keep the rows and like the columns whatever you defined it. So to just keep that, and what are the rows you have it, just remove everything. That is the use of the truncate. So we will see like what all the different ways we can just start using the create, drop, alter, and all these commands. So next one is a data manipulation language that's called as DML. The DML command such as insert, update, delete, or used for inserting, updating, and deleting the structure of a database objects. So that means like say that like you have created a table and you want to have an insert and update and delete. So in that case, you'll just have to definitely go for a comments where we can just go ahead and insert it, update it, and delete, and what are the things you want to go ahead and do that. So we'll see like how we can do this. The next one is the data control language. The data control language commands such as grant and revoke are used for providing security database to objects. So here what we do, we will just provide access to the particular user, or we grant them access. Okay, this guy can go ahead and access this database, and someone has created other database, they can go ahead and access it. So that part is called as a data control language. So it will help the people to understand what they can access and what they cannot access. So a data query language, the DQL command such as select is used for retrieving the data objects from the database. So that is called as a DQL. The transaction control language. The TCL commands such as commit, rollback, and save points is used for managing transaction in the database. So this is something like a commit and rollback. What happens when you want to store a particular huge amount of data where one data is dependent on other data. So that particular point of time, you just can go ahead and commit. So rollback is something like something is going wrong in your particular operation, and just want to, what are things you have saved it before, you just want to roll it back. So these are all very, very important things. Something like an advanced kind of operation, I could say. So before going to this, we have to understand what all the other definition language what we have it. So this is a graphical representation. So DDL, whereas create, drop, alter, truncate comes. A data manipulation language, insert, update, delete comes. A data control language, a grant, revoke, and data query language is select. And data control language is commit, rollback, and save points. Yep. So we will just start looking into these comments, how we can just go ahead and do that. So let me just get you back to the SQL server. Yeah. So now what I'm going to do here, I am just going to just open my database. If you guys don't know how you can just go ahead and create a database, I'll just help you to understand this. Okay. Here we will see like how we can go ahead and create a database, how we'll create a tables. We'll just start looking into that. So there we'll see like what is a primary key, what is a foreign key, what is a relationship between them, and how actually it works. So we'll see that. So first we'll go ahead and create a database. So I'll just click on new database. I will just call this database name as training database. Yeah, I'll not make any changes. I'll just click on OK. Yeah, a new DB has been created for me. If you look at this, what we have here, we have our database diagrams. So once you start adding those tables and the relationship between them. So if you open the database diagram, you will get a complete overview of it, how the tables are designed, how the tables are interconnected to each other. So here we have tables. So since you guys are very new to this, we'll start with the tables, and later we can come back to views and the procedures and the functions and triggers. We have a lot of topics here. So we'll just come back to those topics one by one. And I'll just start with tables now. So we do have system tables, file tables, external tables, and graph tables. So we will come back to these tables later. So what we're going to do, we are going to create a new table. So one thing, we can just go ahead and create a table by using a command. So what is this command? If you just, as I told you, create table with a foreign key. So what is a command for that usually? So if you don't have a SQL server, so there are a lot of online tools. You can just start using those tables too. I mean, those online tools where it will help you to run the commands. You can just go ahead and do that. So here, this is a command which will just help me to create a table, right? So here, what we're trying to do, we're just trying to create a table, and what I'm going to do, just like I'm just trying to create a relationship with the other table. So here, I'll just keep it very simple here. If you look at this very clearly, the table itself is saying that, okay, this is something like, okay, I just want to do this because what I have here, I have an order ID, order number, person ID, and I want to make this order ID as a primary key. This is the one of the way where you can go ahead and create a tables. So if I execute this, obviously a table will get created. So if I go back here and refresh it, yeah, you can see our order table has been created. So this is a command. So as a as we see, it's a create where which will just help us to just create the table. So what are all the other things we can say it a drop or alter. So right. So let us before we drop it, let us try for a alter one. So like what I can do for alter. So example, I just want to add a new column to this particular column. What I can do here. So here I'm just going to say a new command. So that is something called as alter table. So alter table, something like which will help you to alter it. So here I will say, okay, this is something I'll just keep it for you. Alter orders. And here, as I said, I just want to add a new column to this. So this is always going to be dbo dot. And here I will say that, okay, I want to add a new column. I would like to call it as email. So I'll just say add column name followed by the at followed by the what are the column name you want to give and what's the type of it. Type in the sense like is it a varchar, is it an integer? So based on that, you can just I'll just call this as email. I'll just call it as a varchar of 50. Let us see what happens. Okay, just look at this. What is error? So unknown object dbo dot, right? So what is saying? Okay, it's unable to find that object. Why? So what we have to understand here. Exactly. So just if you get something like this, so you have to understand what is the exact error. So here, if you look at this, that is something unknown object type orders used to create, drop, or alter the statements. Okay, it is it's clearly saying that okay, you don't have something like this, and you just have to make sure that you are providing the valid object name. So what is happening here? If you just look at this, what exactly it's expecting, and look at this kind of statements. This is auto generated one. This will just help you to just get the exact query whatever you want it. So this is something like okay, if you look at this, if I just go ahead and execute this, this will get executed. So you can ask this, what happened exactly with this, right? So this is something, okay. This is a db.users orders. First, let me go ahead and create it again. I'll just create it. And what is the difference between these two? If I provide this, do you guys think it's going to work out? Let us check this out. Still, what's happening? So usually when you try to alter it, you just have to be very careful with the things. So what happens? Just say right click on it, and there's something called as script table as. It will just always help you to just understand okay what exactly is happening. Create tool, just go ahead and create a a script which will help you to just create it, and drop tool, you just go ahead and just give the drop to and drop and create to. First we'll drop the table and again we'll just create it. These are all the we have that script table as which you have that option, we can just go ahead and create it. So here we're not getting any option for create or alter to. So that is one thing you just have to observe it. The command itself is correct. There is no problem with that. So to look at that, what the exact problem is. Look at this, what you have to provide here. We just have to say alter table. So you just identify, okay, you just have to make sure that you provide an exact command. When you're saying create table, you just have to make sure that you provide create table. When you're trying to alter it, you just have to say yes, you just have to alter it. So if I execute now, a new column is going to add it to this. So how we can confirm that? If you just refresh it here, if you look at this columns, yes, we have a new column got added. So similarly, If you want to drop a column, what you have to do, you just have to say drop and just say execute it. So again, what is the problem here? If you look at this, email is not a constant. So what are the things you need to consider while dropping a particular column? You just have to say, yes, I want to drop a column. What you have to do, you just have to say column and go ahead and execute this. Yeah, this will help you to drop a column, what are the columns which are created. And you guys have to remember when you're dropping it, if there is any relationship with other tables, you just have to make sure that you're you're getting rid of the other column table, and then you can only drop it. Otherwise, you just keep on throwing the problem. So we will see, just like we will create multiple tables, and we'll see like how we can provide the relationship between them, right? So I hope these basic comments you guys are okay with that. So I mean, this is something where you always we can remember this, like the basic commands. Okay, so there are a lot of things. I'll just show you the script table as if I just go ahead and select create true, it will just generate a command. Because why we are going to do this? Because when we have a huge number of tables and you want to generate a script kind of thing, this will help you to just create the tables in the right way. So if you look at this, exactly what is happening here, it is creating a tables. It's creating a tables and with the columns whatever defined it, right? So if I want to just go ahead and drop to, you can see I already created this, so it's going to use drop table. So here what is happening, this is something like, okay, it's going to check out whether a particular table is there or not in your system. If it is there, then only go ahead and delete it, and if it is not there, you don't have to delete it, right? Leave your out orders, so incorrect space, exactly. So just have to have this. Yeah, look at this, it is saying yes, there is a table exists with this name, you can just go ahead and delete it. If there is no table, example, if I am going to drop it now, and if I say execute this, and I'm going to get empty records. And still, if I try to execute the table which doesn't exist, so I'm going to get error saying that cannot read the table db.orders because it doesn't exist or you don't have permission for that. Say it's clearly saying, okay, it doesn't exist, so how we can how we can delete the table. But you can ask me like, still I can see this. So this is one of the things, you just have to go ahead and refresh it. Yes, a table got deleted. So this is a basic comments. Okay, so how we can go ahead and create a tables, how you can alter the tables, and how you can drop the table. So this is the things, like when it comes to data definition languages, the basic things which is required for you to just proceed with your SQL things. So create, drop, alter. So let me go ahead and execute the truncate as well. So before doing that, I will just recreate a table again. I'll just say yes, and I'll just say that refresh the table here, and I'll start inserting. So usually what I'm going to do, I'm just going to have a insert statement here. So you can always go ahead and delete it, update it, whatever you want to do it. So I'm just going to have some data to this particular orders table. So here what is saying that, okay, you can go ahead and insert something for this, but you should always go ahead and insert in this order. So I want to say order ID is 1, order number. So I feel like, okay, this order number is also a type of integer, and the person ID is also integer. So I'll just say 111. Example, if I want to go ahead and add a new column to this, I would like to add a new column here, and I will say that I want to save an email for this, a person email. Okay, so that will help me to identify what is the exact that is. So I think if I go back and generate the insert statement again, so insert into, right. So here I will just say order ID is 1, order number is 1, and I will say person ID is also 1, and I will say person ID is, so let us say Sachin @gmail.com. And if I do this, I'm going to have one record inserted here. So I'm just going to close everything here. So If you guys want to generate all those things, you can just go ahead and just right click on it and do the things whatever it told you. So now if I just say select, yeah, I can see one record has been inserted here. I will insert few more, and I will say two. I will say two. I will say two. Rahul. Yeah. Okay. A select statement. Top 1,000. That is nothing but it's going to fetch a top 1,000 records. Example, if I say top two, example top one. Now see, I have two records here. If I say top one, it's going to fetch only one record here, right? If I say top two, it's going to fetch only two records here. So that is the use of top. So now we will see how we can go ahead and update it. I hope you guys are okay with the select statement now. So now we'll see how we can, just let me refresh it here so that you can see a new column getting added here. Yeah, it's an email, and I would like to update. Insert has been done now, so I would like to update a few things here. So here, if you look at this is what the update statement here. So update your table. This is your table, and use which database. Example, if you have multiple database, which database you want to use it. Always you can just go ahead and do this by using the use training database. I'm using this, and what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to update this table. You guys don't have to go ahead and type it each and every time. So you always go ahead and right click and script table as, and just say update, delete, or insert whatever things you want to. If you want to select, you can just go ahead and select it. This will help you to just have the better queries. I hope if you guys are start writing the statements, I definitely know that we'll just start not using all those things. So make sure that you use these things go, and it's a kind of block. So just help you to just make it as a block kind of things, and have a better coding. So here I want to say that now I've done this insert. Let us see what I have here. So I have two records. Let us say I want to update this order ID and person ID. So now I will say, okay, I don't want to set any order ID. I want the same order ID here. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to set only the order number. I will say instead of one, I would like to insert a number 100 here. The person ID also, I would like to update it to, okay, something like 999. And the email ID, I feel like, okay, that has to be updated to something. Instead of Sachin, okay, I have given a wrong name there. I would like to update it. So I will just say remove this, and what condition you want, based on which, there are two records, right? Like which record you want to update it. So here, what I'm going to say here, okay, there are two records here, order ID 1 and 2. I would like to update the order ID 1 other. So I will order. So let me order. Sorry for the typo. Order underscore ID. So I would like to say yes. Go ahead and update this one. Let me go ahead and execute this. Yes. What is it saying? Okay. Order ID. Invalid column name. What is the exact? Okay. I don't have order underscore here. So yes, one row got affected. I think if you go ahead and execute this, okay, this got updated to 199, and also the email got updated. So this is about the update statement. So now the last one is the delete. If you want to delete the records, there is a difference between the truncate and the delete. So I'll just tell you that. So now you have two records here. So I'll just say delete here. And I can do here, I can just go ahead and insert few more records. I will have one more record, Rahul. Yeah. So there is a primary key constraint, right? So you cannot have a same number for the order ID. This is a primary key which you created. Yes, we do have a new record inserted instead of this. So now I have three records. Say that okay, this got inserted by it looks like a duplicate for me. because the email ID and something is got inserted again. So if I have to go ahead and delete this, so I can just go ahead and use a delete statement just for your reference. I'm just using this. I can just go ahead and delete too, and they'll say yes, okay. Okay, what condition you want to delete it? I will say okay. I want to delete a record. This is nothing but number 3, and I would like to say order ID. I will say okay, boss, this order ID I don't want it. Please delete it. So here order ID, I will say like okay. The row number 3 I don't want. I'll just execute this. Okay, I think our record must be deleted. So now what is the difference between this delete and truncate? So if I just use truncate, the truncate will be always looking like this. Truncate this dbo dot orders, it is going to remove everything, right? If you want to get rid of your complete data, whatever you have it, it should always be like, okay, this is something, okay, what table you want to do it, you can always go ahead and do this. So here, what exactly it's saying, you remove all the comments, sorry, all the rows, whatever is there. If you have 1,000 records also, if you say the truncate table, it's going to clean up everything except that columns, whatever you defined it. So if you go and execute this, see what a complete table is clear. So that is the one of the major differences between the truncate and as well as a delete. So this is something like very useful for you when you have to use truncate and when you have to use drop and when you have to use delete. That is now you guys have to delete it. So as I told you, SQL delete, it removes the rows one at a time. So SQL truncate is removes all the rows in a table by deallocating the pages that are used in the to store the data in the table. So in SQL delete, it retains the identity and does not reset to the seed value. A truncate command reset the identity to the seed value. So go through this, like this is one of the major interview question. You guys can expect it like what is the difference between truncate and delete, and what is the difference between truncate and drop. So the truncate and drop, like the drop command is used for remove the whole database or table indexes, right? So what are the data and more, whatever you have it. So whether the truncate command is used to remove all the rows from the particular column, particular table. So truncate, delete, this are like most commonly used, and try to have some just try to create more, and just use drop, just use truncate, and just use delete. So you'll come to know what is the exact difference between those two. So I hope this is helpful for you guys, like when to do deal with this. And meanwhile, I'll just show you one more thing. Maybe you say that like you have multiple things in your system, how we can just go ahead and generate a script. So there's an option called as task and generate scripts, and just you can just go ahead and say next, and what all the tables are. Like example, if I have around 100 tables, if you want to generate a script for only few, I can just go ahead and do it. But right now I don't have, I cannot, there is only one table. I'm just going to select that. See, not only tables here, so it also includes views, and it also includes the procedures, it includes everything. So the script will be very helpful, because when you want to create a new database with the existing data and also with the the existing table structure, and yeah, again, you cannot go ahead and just create it again, right? So, and example, if you want to just go ahead and include the data things, you can always go ahead and say yes, what are the data it has, I want that to include also. You can just go ahead and select types of data to in script. You can just go ahead and select that, and I would like to save like this. I will say, yeah, I'll just store it on my desktop. I will say generated script next. This is going to generate a script for you. So yep, that's it. I should be able to see a new generated script here. Yeah, if you look at this, a new generated script has been generated, Look at this. This is something what we have right now. We just have a a table created. I hope you remember, guys. I already created the data. If there's no clear data, I would have got insert statement as well. Yep. So if I go ahead and execute that example, if I'm creating a new DB, if I take the script and change this use, and just if I execute on a particular DB, it will just create a new tables or whatever things which I created. That's all for today. Next, we will see the remaining things like joins. What is the use of joins? How we can go ahead and use it, and how we can just use provide the relationship between the tables. We can just go ahead and see in the next class. And also, guys, please. If you guys have any questions or queries, you can contact us. You can contact us to this number, or if you have any queries, you can let us know in the comment section. We will help our best to resolve your queries. So yeah, keep learning. All the best for your career. Thank you so much for joining. We'll see you in the next class. Thank you so much.